Hello everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Joe here, coming live with our Wellness Wednesday segment. Hit start again. Hello, 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 good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The computer seemed to be a bit slow today, so welcome to our Wellness Wednesday segment. And let me know if you're here. Just going to check on my phone, make sure I am currently live. So, how is everybody on this Wellness Wednesday, middle of the week? Hoping you're traveling well after our beautiful connection meditation on Monday morning. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch, because you can meditate anytime, any day of the week, to get you more in alignment with what you want to project out into the world and attune your energy. So this week we're talking about the fear of making the wrong decision. And I know this specifically holds a lot of people back, and specifically in business women, entrepreneurs, and it's all about, rebuilding that trust, rebuilding that self-trust within us. So if you have any questions around this, drop it into the comments, and if I don't see it, I'll get to it after the live. But have you ever noticed how one difficult decision can make you question everything that comes after it? I know I have. Yeah. So not just relationship decisions, but career choices, financial decisions, parenting decisions, and every small day decisions and choices that we have to make. Specifically when we're going through something, a challenging time. So, for many high achieving women, and when I say that, it doesn't just mean in business, but women that, that feel that they have to be perfect in everything. And we talked about this last week. We're not going to put it out into the world until it's perfect, and that keeps us stuck in that procrastination. Again, if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's in the group here. Or I can send you the link, the YouTube link to it. Okay, because I know that when we're on these lives, they disappear after a certain amount of time. I think it's after 30 days or something. So yeah, if you feel like you're stuck in that perfectionism space and not really moving forward or getting anything done, then that would be a good one to watch. Because for many high achieving women, especially when those of us, or I have been through significant life changes. I'm sure we all have. Everyone can relate to some specific life change that they've been through that, where they have that quite, underlying fear, and you may not even recognize it as fear. You just may recognize it as hesitation, or just being stuck and not being able to move forward. And generally under that is some sort of fear. And in fact, I recognized one in me very early hours of this morning, when we're about to experiment or explore something new. And specifically in my business, I've been working with a coach who is pushing us out of our comfort zone to do things differently. And for me, it was like, oh, why can't I nail this? Like, why am I taking so long to really get something on concrete? And I kept spiraling back over and over. And suddenly I went, wow, yes, I finally clicked. It's like, what is the block here? And this is really important, asking, what is the block? And finally I recognized the block was the fear of not giving the thing that I was putting out into the world, not feeling that I could give them what they needed in one quick sort of solution. Because women I work with generally, I work with over long periods of time. So it was very interesting how my brain worked, and it was keeping me stuck in that looping. And as soon as I recognized that, today I landed it. I nailed it. It's like, okay. Once you recognize what's holding you back, you can actually move through it. And I put it out there. So, it's about what if we get it wrong? Like this fear of, what if I get it wrong and I don't deliver what I say I'm going to deliver? All right, and I know I can deliver. That's not the issue, but my mind was keeping me stuck. So, this thing around perfectionism and procrastination, where we talked about last week, is how waiting for things to be perfect can really keep us stuck. And that's what I experienced. But when you stop, underneath that, there's something deeper. As I said, it's usually a fear of something. So, and you lose that trust in ourselves. And often that happens when you've had experiences in the past that has proven that, it's shown you that. And that stops us, that delays us from moving forward. So when we stop trusting our decisions, hesitation, that procrastination becomes like a safety, like a strategy to keep us safe, So it does serve a purpose. However, we need to get beyond the safety, because otherwise we're going to stay stuck and we're going to keep looping and looping and looping and never achieving what we want in life, never achieving what we say we want. Yeah. So it's really important to just be aware of these mechanisms, these programs that run us. And we're all capable. All of us are capable. We were born capable. Okay, but silently we think that we should have it all. We should have it all together. We should have it all down. We should know better. Or how did I not see that coming? How did I put myself in that situation? Like quietly in the background of, and sometimes these are all unconscious. And what if I make another mistake again? Yeah, and that doubt, which keeps compounding and keeping us in that shame and guilt programming and silently berating ourselves, it doesn't serve you. So instead of moving forward confidently, we overanalyze everything. That's what I was doing, overanalyzing, procrastinating, going back and forth in my head, if I should or I shouldn't, or this one or that one, and just continually going around in circles. And this can keep you stuck for days, months. But in business, it can keep you stuck, forever and not moving forward. So it really delays, the important steps we need to take, right? Because we keep making up excuses or stories about why we're not moving forward, or we keep seeking out endless reassurance from other people, asking or waiting for approval, permission, and that's just a strategy that we use to delay the actual process of moving forward. And we stay stuck so much longer than we need to. And not because we're not capable, okay? Not because we're not capable, but because we're protecting ourselves, okay? So how does our self-trust get shaken? And why does it get shaken? Well, specifically, when we're making major life, changes, or we're experiencing major life changes, we're having challenges, we're having expectations or having things happen out of our control, it rocks what is familiar, what we're familiar with in life. So it's taking us out of the normal of what we're used to. And the mind tries to create a safety by becoming hyper vigilant Okay, watching this, watching that, or just being hyper vigilant about the next moves, and you know, should I, shouldn't I, and all the things I just talked about, and over analyzing and those making those decisions. And remember, the mind runs the show. It runs the show. So the key is for you to take control of that and run your own show, because the brain will begin asking, you know, what did I miss? You know, how did I miss that? How could I prevent that how could I prevent that happening again? You know, and it stays looping in those circumstances, those experiences, those you know, life experiences that you've had in the past. And then you start to try and make it all perfect, so you don't go back and experience that same old pattern of what you've experienced in the past. So you go to perform. You want to make the perfect decision, but the truth is, there's no perfect decision. The decision doesn't come with a guarantee. Yeah, and just deciding is all about moving forward, whether you're right or wrong. And by the way, there is no right or wrong. It's all learning. It's all experience. It's how we learn, how we move forward and learn, so we can keep moving forward. It's movement. It's just doing something. So high achieving women often believe that if I just think it through enough, and if you're watching this and resonate, about being a high achiever, about being perfect, making sure everything's right, even in life, not just in business. You know, so if you're thinking, if I think it through enough, I'll make the right decision. Well, when will that happen? Yeah. If I just do more research, if I just analyze this a bit more, if I go a bit deeper, if I just delay it a bit longer, or if I just seek more clarity and look for the evidence outside of myself, you know, getting others' opinions, getting others' approval, seeking approval from others. But if you just trust and move forward anyways and learn along the way. I think last week I talked about creating programs before, like putting it out into the world before I'd created it. It was magical. It was beautiful, because I could then produce something that was more valuable, that was what women wanted, based on their needs and based on their feedback. So it can work in your favor. Okay, because it certainly rarely comes before action. All right, it usually comes after the experience, after you take the action. Yeah, so what's the real cost? What's it costing you to, you know, live in this fear-based decision-making place, basically? And, you know, where it's fear of getting it all wrong, if that's driving you, what's it costing you? Well, you're missing out on life. You're missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on growth. Okay? It slows you down. It's keeping you stuck in those same old cycles, and you're never really moving forward and never achieving what you want. It actually also depletes your confidence. And the longer we stay stuck in indecision, the more we reinforce that self-worth. Yeah, and life starts to feel harder. You feel smaller. You're not living in your joy. You feel guilt and shame, and that just chips away and eludes that self-trust, and it keeps your dreams small, keeps you shrinking back. Okay, so how can we move through this? Well, just by remembering that every decision we make is based on the information, emotional capacity, and the awareness that we have at the time. Okay, it's not a time to sit and beat yourself up and just feed further that guilt and shame that's keeping us stuck. It's a time for compassion for self. It's a time, you know, where you didn't fail. You didn't fail at all. It's a time for just having that self-compassion and knowing that you didn't fail. The thing is, you've learnt something from the experience, whether it be good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. You've learnt something, but you've moved forward. You've expanded your awareness. And that awareness is now part of your wisdom, okay? Because you've learnt something and it's like, wow, you've expanded. So that rebuilds your trust. Come from that place, from the expanded place. Okay, because it's not built through reflection. Sorry, perfection. Reflection. It's not built through perfection. It is built through reflection, actually. That's where that word came from. Through small, consistent decisions that you make, baby steps that honors you. Listening to your inner guidance, making decisions without over justifying them, learning to trust your decision, even if it's not, if it may not be the right one, but just trust it. This is a practice to fine tune, just a practice to fine tune, but you have to make movement, you have to move forward, and just allowing life to unfold through taking that action, one day, one moment at a time. That's so important. Trust is a big one. So your confidence doesn't come from always, it doesn't come from always being right. It comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes next. That's the sort of self-trust that you end up building, that you handle everything that comes next. Yeah? So let's pause and just reflect. There was the reflection I was looking for. Let's reflect on what decision, and if you want to have pen and paper handy and write this down so that you can actually possibly go further and deeper with it later, and maybe journal about it, is what decision in your life are you currently hesitating to make? Is it around your health? Is it around your business, your relationships, your money, around conscious connection with people, community? What are decisions about that you currently are hesitating to make? And if the fear of being wrong wasn't there, if it wasn't in the forefront, now that you've brought the awareness to it, if it wasn't there, what might you choose? What could you choose differently to take that first step? Just sit with that for a moment. As I said, you take it away and journal on those questions about what decisions in your life you are currently hesitating to make. And if the fear of being wrong wasn't around, wasn't there, what might you choose? What might you do? How might you be? Who might you reach out to? Yeah? Because life isn't about making perfect decisions, as I said. It's the same energy as doing things perfectly, really. So it's about trusting that you are capable of navigating whatever unfolds. You are more than capable of navigating whatever comes up, whatever unfolds. The goal is not to eliminate the mistakes. The goal is to become the woman who trusts herself again. If you just have that as your intention, I'm going to become the woman that trusts herself again and takes steps regardless of the fear. Because with every fear, there's always a breakthrough. There's always something magnificent to follow. Trust me on that. You should have seen me so elated when I finally nailed the message that I was doing for this this intensive that I'm currently involved with a coach in, and it was, oh my God, it felt so good just making that decision, just nailing it. But you know, the process of just persevering and not giving up. Like, it would have been easy to go, oh no, this is too hard, I'm just gonna not do this intensive. I'm going to drop out. No, it's not in my character. I'm one who likes to, when I commit to something, I always follow through. So if this conversation resonates with you and you're navigating some big life decisions at the moment, and or transitions, if you're in a transition about where you know what you want, what outcome you want, you don't have to do it alone. You're welcome just to book a quick chat with me, and we can explore what it may look like for you to move forward and how I can support you in that. Self-trust isn't about, it's built on certain, it's not, well, self-trust isn't built on certainty, because there's so much that's uncertain out there, and we know that by, you know, what's happening in the world at the moment. It's built on courage, to keep choosing to make a decision, to keep moving, continually moving forward in your life. So my lovelies, if you have any questions, any comments, any ahas, something landed for you about this topic, I'd love to know. Drop them in the comments. I can't actually see any comments on this device, but I'm sure that if you're watching the replay, just let me know, you know, if it resonated or not, or what topics you would love. What do you want to hear about? What do you want to know? So I'm going to close for the day. I couldn't see anything either on my technology and me. So I will see you on Monday for Wellness Monday. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Have a beautiful self-care Saturday weekend, and I will oh yeah, I'm there. I will catch you soon. Awesome. Lots of love. Bye for now.